Well, it's a very great pleasure for us this evening to say hello to an up-and-coming Merseyside group, the Beatles. And I know their names, and I'm going to try and put faces to them. Now, you're John Lennon, aren't you?
Yes, that's right.
What do you do in the group, John?
I play harmonica, rhythm, guitar, and vocal. That's what they call it.
Harmonica, rhythm, guitar, and vocal. John is, in fact, the leader of the group. Yeah, I don't know whether we caught that or not, but I hope it went in.
I understand you were the one that was responsible for the name of the group, the Beatles.
Yeah.
Could you tell us exactly how you decided upon that name?
Well, I remember the other day when somebody mentioned the Crickets at a press conference. I'd forgotten all about that. I was looking for a name like the Crickets that meant two things. And from Crickets I got to Beatles. And I changed the BEA because it didn't mean two things on its own without B-E-E-T-L-E-S. Didn't mean two things. So I changed the E to the A. And it meant two things then.
What two things specifically? The beat,
well,
the music?
I mean, it didn't have to mean two things, but it said, you know, it was beat and Beatles, and when you said it, people thought of Crawley things, and when you read it, it was beat music.
Why did you decide upon the long hair and so forth for all of the members of the group? What was the reason for that?
We didn't decide on it. The only reason I didn't have long hair at 13 was because I kept getting told to get it off. I've always liked it, and when I met George, Paul and Ringo, they've always liked it. We just bumped into each other. We didn't have it the same as this, but it was long, you know.
So actually it wasn't something you decided to do when the group was formed. You all had long hair before the group.
Yeah, sometimes we'd have it short. You know, I've got photos of me with it longer than it is now, and shorter, much shorter. We used to just vary how we felt, you know.
How long has the group been a group, actually?
Well, I'm losing count now. I think it's about 5 years, probably. That's not including Ringo. He's been with us about 3.
When you first, when your records first started coming over here, did you have any? Did you wonder whether or not they would be successful as they were in England at the time?
We didn't think we stood a chance in Heath. We just didn't imagine it at all. We didn't even bother. We were just even when we came over to America the first time, we were only coming over to buy LPs. I know our manager had plans for Ed Sullivan shows, but we thought at least we'll hear the sounds when we get over there.
So it was just, you had no idea that your success would be so great and so powerful as it is today?
It was just out of the dark, you know. You know, that's the truth. It's so out of the dark. We were knocked out like we didn't know what happened.
Well, what made you decide to form a group such as you did? What was the reason for that?
Well, about the time of rock and roll in Britain, I think I was about 15, so it'd be 1955. There was a big thing called skiffle, which is a kind of folk music, American folk music, only sort of jing with washboards. And all the kids, you know, 15 onwards used to have these groups, and I formed one at school. And then I met Paul, you know, I had this group, and then I met Paul, then I met George, and that's the way it went. We changed to rock, and that was all there was to it.
When did you cut your first record?
I haven't a clue. That must be about 1.5 years, 2 years ago.
What was the reaction to it publicly in England?
It only sold in Liverpool. Over the rest of Britain, it didn't, you know, nobody bought it there. About half a dozen people did. But it sold so many in Liverpool the first 2 days because they were all waiting for us to make it. The dealers down in London thought there's a fiddle on. Mr. Epstein, fella up there, just cheated, you know. They didn't believe it. When they wrote in requests for it for the radio programs, they wouldn't play it because they thought it was a cheat. Because all the requests and everything came from Liverpool.
You wanted to be at one stage an artist?
Yes, but as usual, I wanted to be the wrong one. I wanted to be a painter, which I was lousy at. The only thing I could do was this kind of work. But I insisted on taking painting.
Some of these drawings look as if you're preoccupied with abnormalities.
Well, I'm not really. It's just that they're not very abnormal.
Physical abnormalities.
Yeah, well, my earlier drawings when I was about 18 and 19 were really abnormal, you see. So I think they're quite normal. They might look abnormal now, but they're not. They're quite clean and fresh, I thought.
Well, it's a very clean and fresh spirit of scepticism in all this. Are you naturally sceptical of things, of people and situations?
Probably, yeah.
Do you think people have a tendency to underestimate you, to think that you're barely articulate and that you don't have a mind because you're a Beatle?
They might have. Yeah, I think they did for quite a time, but now they expect more. I mean, some press conferences, they'll just come in and sit down and wait for us to be witty about nothing, you know. But then they won't even talk sometimes. They think we're going to give a show. You know? So it's not all roses.
Is this why you play around a lot in your press conferences?
Well, no, we play around a lot. If there's just nothing happening, you know, we just mutter to ourselves. But it's usually the best playing around is when there's some good people there asking questions, you know. But if there isn't, what can you do, you know, sitting there waiting for you to entertain them? You can't, you know, because we can only work if we've got sort of straight man, as we call them. And somebody's got to ask for something for us to say anything sort of a bit funny. You can't just go in and sort of, well, I do.
If it had said television is more popular than Jesus, I might have got away with it. You know, but as I just happened to be talking to a friend, I used the word Beatles as a remote thing, not as what I think, as Beatles as though those other Beatles like other people see us. And I just said they are having more influence on kids and things than anything else, including Jesus. But I said it in that way, which is the wrong way. Yep.
Well, some teenagers have said, have repeated your statements that the Beatles, I like the Beatles more than Jesus Christ. What do you think about that?
Well, originally I was pointing out that fact in reference to England, that we meant more to kids than Jesus did, or religion at that time. I wasn't knocking it or putting it down, I was just saying it as a fact. And it is true, especially more for England than here. You know, I'm not saying that we're better or greater or comparing us with Jesus Christ as a person or God as a thing or whatever it is. You know, I just said what I said and it was wrong or was taken wrong, and now it's all this.
I don't advocate it, you know. I don't say don't do it, you know. I did it myself because I had to do it. I wanted to know it.
But the fact is that your having done it is a validation for a lot of other people out there who love and admire you and want to be like you.
Yeah, okay, I said to you, it'd be hypocritical of me not to answer how I feel exactly about drugs. Now, if people expect me to say, don't do it, kids, it's no good, they're going to think just as I thought about the vicar. You know, don't tell me not to make love to a girl. Don't tell me, I'll find out myself. Now, it's the same bit. You know, I can't tell them that. I can say, think peace, but it's up to them what to do. It's really up to them, you know. And that's all there is to
Also,
it.
he's human too, you know. In other words, you know, he's not hiding the fact that he's human.
And wait a minute, I just want to say this, I forgot it, so when the camera went up. Now, the point about the whole drug scene was, the press asked Paul, have you taken LSD? This is how it all came out. Otherwise, we didn't say a word about it, you know. I mean, it was just a personal thing, right? The press asked Paul, have you taken LSD? And Paul said, yes. And then they started getting in on it. And Paul said, now listen, I'm asking you, if you're so worried about my influence on the kids, I'm asking you, the press and the TV, not to put this film out. And he asked them, but they put the whole thing on the news with him saying, don't put it out. You know, they said, it's your responsibility, Mr. McCartney. Don't you think you've got all these 15-year-old kids gonna run out and become drug addicts, taking LSD? And Paul said to them, okay, don't put it out. If you're so worried about my effect on the kids, don't publicize it. Stop asking me about them. You know, I mean, it's a game. It's a game for anybody to ask me about my feelings on drugs and then put me down for talking about it.
Right.
If they don't want it to spread round, stop writing about it and stop asking people like me whether they take drugs or not. Because then nobody will know. Nobody knew till he asked me.
Let me confirm quickly a couple rumors with you.
Yes.
One of them, has it ever been settled whether Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was a code for anything?
It never was, and nobody believes me. I even saw some famous star introducing, I've forgotten who it was, introducing a Lennon McCartney show, and it was Mel Torme saying about how Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was about LSD. This is the truth. My son came home with a drawing and showed me this strange-looking woman flying around. I said, what is it? He said, it's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And I thought, that's beautiful. I immediately wrote a song about it. The song had gone out, the whole album had been published, and somebody noticed that the letters spelt out LSD. And I had no idea about it. And of course, after that, I was checking all the songs to see what the letters spelt out. Yeah. They didn't spell out anything, none of the others, and it wasn't about that at all, you know.
They could do that with Eleanor Rigby.
But nobody believes, you see. Yeah.
Stood for
there was Henry the
erratic.
Horse in a song I wrote called Mr. Kite. The lyrics, which I got most of it off, was an old poster for an old-fashioned circus, you know, from the 1800s. And it was all about Pablo Fanke's fair, and the horse was there. And they said Henry the Horse was horse, which I didn't know anything about then, you know. And Happiness is a Warm Gun was another one, they said, which was banned on the radio. They said it was about shooting up drugs. And it was the front of a gun magazine which said, Happiness is a Warm Gun. You know, they're advertising guns. I thought it was so crazy that I made a song out of it.
When Brian died, we got a bit lost, you know, because we needed a manager. All of us are artists and we're nothing else, you know, so we can't manage ourselves or, you know, look after ourselves in that way. But it's a lot for four sort of big heads like the Beatles to stay together for such a long time. And in the early days, there was the thing of making it big, or, you know, breaking into America, and we had a goal together. But when we reached about 28 or 29, it began to be, oh, what's the goal? You know, we've made it. And it was getting like, we were getting more talented, and George began to write lots of songs. You couldn't even make an album, you know, you were lucky to get a track on an album. And then we all started to get more interested in our own music and go in different ways, you know. I mean, if you hear our separate albums, they're similar, but our personalities have sort of developed, and they were a bit stifled in the Beatles. And between us now, we sell 10 times more records than the Beatles did. Yeah. Individually, if you add them all together, we're doing far better than we were then.